Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something huge, something that affects every single one of us, every single day. And that is the incredible, and honestly, often ignored, connection between the food we eat and how we actually feel mentally.
So, let me just throw this out there to kick things off. What if the key to a stronger, healthier mind isn't some complex therapy or miracle pill, but it's actually sitting right there on your dinner plate?
All right, let's get into it. Before we can talk about the solutions, and trust me, there are solutions, we really need to get our heads around the problem. And that problem is what most of us are eating every day. Get ready for this number, more than half. A massive global review found that over 50% of the average diet in countries like the UK and the US is made up of ultra-processed foods. And for some people, especially the younger crowd, that number shoots up to a staggering 80%. So when we say ultra-processed foods, or UPFs, what are we even talking about? Well, these are the things made in factories, not grown on farms. Think sugary cereals, frozen pizzas, most packaged snacks. You know the stuff. They're engineered to taste amazing and last forever on a shelf. But they're often jam-packed with calories and pretty much empty of the actual nutrients our brains are crying out for. And the fallout from this is huge. A recent review in the medical journal The Lancet didn't pull any punches. They called the rise of these foods a seismic threat to our health. The science is clear. Eating a lot of the stuff is directly linked to a higher risk of depression. This isn't just a small issue. It's a full-blown health crisis happening at every meal. So that brings us to the big question, right? How on earth can a bag of chips or a can of soda mess with something as complex as your mood? I mean, really. Let's take a look under the hood and see what's actually going on. First off, your brain is incredibly demanding. It's this little organ that's only about 2% of your body weight, but it guzzles down 20% of your daily calories. It is a high-performance engine. And just like you wouldn't put cheap, watered-down gas in a Ferrari, your brain needs premium fuel to run properly.
And here's how that fuel literally gets turned into feelings. Let's talk about serotonin. Everyone's heard of it. It's the feel-good chemical. Well, your brain can't just whip it up from scratch. It all starts when you eat food with an amino acid called tryptophan. That tryptophan gets into your bloodstream, travels up to your brain, and bam, your brain uses it as the raw material to build serotonin. It's a direct supply chain. No tryptophan in your diet means no serotonin in your brain. Simple as that.
And this isn't just theory. It plays out in the real world all the time. Check out this clinical case study about a guy named Robert. He's 43, comes in with irritability, low mood, just feeling blah. You look at his diet: cold cereal for lunch, crackers for snacks, low-fat granola bars. It's a perfect storm of foods that are completely starved of the building blocks his brain needs to make him feel okay. So that's one piece of the puzzle, but it's not just about what our food has in it, it's also about what that food does inside our bodies. And one of the biggest things it does is affect inflammation. There was this massive study, the Nurses' Health Study, that followed thousands of women for over a decade. And what they found was just, wow. The women who ate what's called an inflammatory diet, so lots of sugary drinks, refined carbs, that kind of thing, had a 41% higher risk of developing depression. 41%! That's a huge link. So what's causing all this inflammation? Well, a big part of it comes down to this tug of war happening inside you between two types of fats, omega-6 and omega-3. Our modern diet is absolutely drowning in omega-6s. They're in vegetable oils and basically all processed foods. At the same time, we're barely getting any of the good, anti-inflammatory omega-3s you find in things like fish. The problem is, they're fighting for the same resources in your body. So the flood of omega-6s just completely sidelines the little bit of omega-3 that's trying to do its job. But the good news is, if you can flip that balance, the results are incredible. I mean, look at this. Major scientific reviews have found that getting enough omega-3s can make a real difference across the board. We're talking about reducing symptoms of depression, helping with bipolar disorder, easing anxiety, and even improving focus for people with ADHD. It's powerful stuff. Okay, that is enough about the problem. Let's talk about solutions. This is the fun part, the empowering part, the actual foods you can put on your plate to start giving your brain what it really wants. Remember that whole serotonin thing? Well, step one is getting more tryptophan, and you can find it in some delicious places. Eggs are a great source, and whatever you do, don't skip the yolk. That's where all the good stuff is. Hard cheeses like a sharp cheddar or Parmesan are also loaded with it. And for plant-based folks, tofu and other soy products have got you covered. And the list keeps going. Salmon is a total superstar here. It gives you a dose of tryptophan and those amazing anti-inflammatory omega-3s. That's a serious 1-2 punch for your brain. Need a quick snack? Any kind of nuts and seeds will do the trick. And yeah, the reason you get sleepy after Thanksgiving dinner? Turkey is famous for its tryptophan. And look, we've been talking a lot about serotonin, but it's not the only player in the game, not by a long shot. Other nutrients are absolutely essential. Take vitamin B12. If you're deficient in that, it can straight up cause symptoms that look exactly like depression, not to mention brain fog and fatigue. It's another crucial piece of the puzzle. And this is maybe the most shocking part. This isn't just about feeling a little off for a day because you ate junk food. Neuroimaging studies, actual scans of people's brains, show that being chronically deficient in key nutrients can lead to physical changes in your brain. We're talking about brain shrinkage, actual atrophy over time. That makes this pretty hard to ignore. Okay, so we've got these individual hero nutrients. But let's be real, you don't eat tryptophan for lunch. You eat food. You eat meals. So we need to zoom out and look at the big picture. How does this all come together in a way you can actually live with? So, what's the big picture solution? Well, the science keeps pointing back to one thing again and again: whole foods diets. And probably the most famous, most studied example of this is the classic Mediterranean diet. And if you're wondering just how powerful this is, listen to this number. A huge study of over 10,000 students found that the ones who stuck closest to a Mediterranean diet had a 42% lower risk of developing depression, almost half. That is not a small difference. That is a massive protective shield. So what does this actually look like on a plate? It's beautiful, it's colorful, and it's delicious. It's built on a foundation of things like leafy greens, all kinds of vegetables, beans, whole grains, nuts, and good quality olive oil. You've got plenty of fish and seafood. The real magic is how it all works together. The fiber feeds your good gut bacteria, the antioxidants fight inflammation. It's a whole system. It's not about what you cut out. It's about all the amazing stuff you add in. You know, it's funny. This isn't some brand new discovery. Over 2,000 years ago, Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said this. And it feels like modern science is just now providing the receipts, proving the ancient wisdom he was talking about all along. So, we'll end right where we started, with a question. But this time, it's not for me to answer. It's for you. After everything you've just heard, what is one simple, brain-healthy choice you can make for yourself today?